Okay, so I filled it up, and how did I know how much to put in and what kind of oil to put in? Is I looked on the computer for the right viscosity. 10W30 and 5W30 are pretty much the same, but 0W20, 5W20, 15W40, those would be too far off. Those would be too far off. How much to put in? I looked up that in the computer as well, but the real test for that is looking on the stick. And it has to be close before I start it, and then after I run it and let it for about 10 minutes and let it sit, then it needs to be pretty much 100%. Now, you should never run an engine with the oil cap off. So I need to remove the oil cap. Also, this funnel will continue to drip all over the place. So I'm going to put a rag under it. And if I put it anywhere around here, it'll drip. So you know what I do? I just put it right back in the pan and let it drip there. If it's going to drip, you can drip there all at once. Okay, there we go. Got to put the cap back on. This funnel I did not need. Put the cap back on, make it snug. And now I start it up. I'm going to run it for 10 minutes, which means I have to open the door because I don't want the shop to fill up with carbon monoxide, which is deadly. When I start it, I want to make sure it's in park, or if it's a stick shift like this, it has to be in neutral. Where are the keys? Right on the dash where I left them. I need to put my foot on the brake, put it in neutral because this is a stick shift, leave the parking brake on. Now I'm going to call out here as well, starting up, and pause and make sure no one's in the affected area. Starting up, pause, check. Oh, won't start because the neutral safety switch means that I have to step it on the clutch as well. I got to do that all over again now, in case anybody moved into the area. Starting up, pause. Now this first few seconds of engine operation is critical. I got to come out here and make sure that I don't have any big gushing leaks. If I don't have any big gushing leaks, then I'm fine. There's some water over there because it's been raining out, but no big gushing leaks. If it's not leaking right now, it's probably not gonna leak, except for later it might leak a little bit from a drip, but I wouldn't know that until later. I'm gonna rag off all my tools. This is a 3/4 inch 3/8 drive, 3/4 inch opening socket that goes down here with the standard tools. This was the 18mm metric socket with a 3/8 drive that I'm going to put with the standard, so the metric tools. Got a little oil right there I need to remove. This is my ratchet that I pulled out, my 3/8 drive ratchet. This was that 18mm wrench that I pulled out, combo wrench, just to kind of play around with that. This is my breaker bar, which I used. Okay, 3/8 drive breaker bar. Put all that back. That's trash, that's from an empty bottle. These gloves go back over here. This screwdriver goes in the bottom drawer in that little place right there. The flashlight I left on, whoops, okay. I gotta put that there. Oily rags that are really greasy and oily, like that one and this one, have to go in the rag bucket. If a rag is still pretty clean, not too bad, just maybe a tiny bit of soiling or oil on it, I can put it back in my pocket or put it back over there. And this one is all torn up, but it's not very greasy or grimy, so I want to reuse it. Rags are expensive. Now I'm going to let it run for about 10 minutes. Turn it off and check it again. And if it's a newer car with an oil change reminder message on the dashboard, I have to look up how to reset that. I have to get that message to go out. The car doesn't know that the oil was changed. I have to tell it. And so I would look that up on the computer. There's procedures on the computer you can look up to get the oil change reminder system to reset. But this is an older car, so it doesn't have that system. So what some people do is they put a sticker in the window and to put on for how many months from now, or how many miles from now we should do the next oil change. See, it says date or mileage, next oil change. I like to change the oil on this car every 5,000 miles or every 6 months. So that's my system. But if you see one of these on your window and it's past due, you need to go in there and get the oil changed. It doesn't have to be changed every 3,000 miles. That is a myth. See, this says change oil and filter every 3,000 miles or 3 months. That makes money for the oil companies and the parts stores and the oil change places. But on most cars, you can go anywhere from 7,500 miles between oil changes, or sometimes even 10,000 miles. I don't really trust that so much. But also, it really comes down to, on the newer cars, when the dashboard tells you to change the oil. The dashboard will tell you when to change the oil by either turning on a maintenance reminder light or an oil life indicator. In this car, it'll tell us how often to change the engine oil. If you look in the owner's manual, I like to look in the index, and here it says, and we have to look under engine, not oil. Engine oil, right here, 8-11, 8-11, engine oil. It actually gives us a procedure for checking the engine oil, what type of oil to use, either 530 or 1030. Changing it. It actually has the procedure for changing the oil in here, which is pretty cool. And how often to change it would actually be in this list, I think. Scheduled maintenance, engine oil and filter. It's every 6,000 miles or every 6 months. Looking there, every 6,000 miles or every 6 months. You're supposed to change the engine oil and the filter. R stands for replace. So every 6,000 miles or every 6 months. I like to be a little bit earlier than that, so I do every 5,000. But that's the deal. What happens if you wait? The oil, its principles and properties can wear out, and you can start to see increased engine wear, and also, even sometimes worse than that, is really bad fuel economy. So sometimes if your fuel economy is really bad, it's because your oil is too old.